everyone, it's Lexi and welcome to Top 5 Wednesdays. If you're unfamiliar with Top 5 Wednesdays, I'll have everything linked below for the Goodreads book club, and you can get topics and all the information down there. So if you're interested in joining, then go check that out. But today's topics is books that can get you out of a reading slump. So I had a really good time picking these books because I feel like a lot of these are really interesting and they're not really talked about on BookTube. So yeah, I'm really excited. So this is, the first book is one that was probably one of my favorites of last year. It was so good. I was in like so obsessed about it. I was kind of in a reading slump because it was in October and I didn't read a lot in September. I think I read like maybe two or three books. So I didn't read a lot, and I read this and then I just was out of my reading slump, and it is The Bone Garden by Tess Gerritsen. And Tess Gerritsen is the author of the Rizzoli Isles series, which is my all-time favorite book series. And it basically follows two women. One of them is named Julie, and she lives in present day Boston, and she ends up buying this house that was built in the mid 1800s, and she's doing yard work and she finds this body in her garden that's been buried there, a skeleton. And so they investigate it and they learn that it was a body that was buried in the 1800s, and she's really interested, Julie is really interested into why there was a body in her backyard. So she kind of investigates the history of the previous owner, like the original owner. And so then we flop over to Boston during the 1800s, and it follows a girl named Rose whose sister recently died during childbirth, and she is left with her niece, and she crossed paths with this medical student who has a job. He is especially during the medical system and just kind of the rules, they weren't able to acquire cadavers the right way, so they had to hire people to rob, take the bodies out of freshly dug graves. So he gets there and their paths cross when they are both witnesses to a murder, and they have to work together to kind of figure out what's going on and the connection that it has with the child that was just born. It was really interesting. It was really gripping. I loved, I really want to go to Boston, and just how Tess Gerritsen described Boston during this time. It was just really interesting, and I could picture everything just how it was, and it was really good. And the next book is Losing Time by Jodi Picoult. This is a book about a girl who is in search of her mother. Her mother was a researcher who worked with elephants, and they had this elephant sanctuary until one day something goes wrong, and she lives with her grandmother and she's kind of searching for her mother. So the girl goes to a psychic and they try to find what happened to her mother, because something happened at the elephant sanctuary that kind of was iffy. And this book had a really big plot twist. I was not expecting it. I was really it was really a gripping novel because there's a lot of information about elephants, and just there's a lot of research done into that, and it was really interesting to learn that. But the plot twist at the end I did not see coming. It was really good. If you like a book with a plot twist, I highly recommend you check this out. It was really good. Next is What She Left Behind by Ellen Marie Wisemen. This is another book that has a dual storyline, and it follows a girl in the early 1900s who's being forced into a marriage that she doesn't want to be in, and she kind of runs away, and her parents kind of get her back, and as punishment they send her to a mental institute. And it kind of follows her story of how she didn't have mental health issues, but how that whole healthcare system and how people were treated, and just the unjust kind of nature of it. And that was really hard to read about, but it was really interesting. And then it kind of flashes forward to present day about a girl who is a foster kid, and her new foster parents are kind of archaeologists, and they're kind of excavating this insane asylum that that's been abandoned for many years, and the two stories kind of intertwine, and it was really good. I think it's really important, especially because it shows how people with mental illnesses were treated and kind of the stigma towards them, and it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The next one is Firefly Lane by Kristin and this was the second book that I read by Kristin and I really liked it. I read this a few years ago, and it follows the story of two girls and their friendship and how it started, and it covers the ups and downs of their friendship over the course of 30 years. And I think this is a book that a lot of girls can relate to, just having that female friendship and how things change when you like at different stages of your life. And I cried so hard in this. It was a beautiful story, and I think that a lot of people will like it. It's really gripping and it has things that everyone can relate to. So if you like The Nightingale by Kristin and like the sister relationship, then I highly recommend that you check out Firefly Lane. It was so good, and it really kind of got me out of a reading slump that I was going through at that time. And lastly, I have What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty, and this is about a girl named Alice, and when it's first introduced, Alice is pregnant with her first child. She's very happily married, and that's where we like get to know her from. And then the book jumps like maybe like 15 years or so, and Alice wakes up in the hospital. She hit her head at the gym, and she doesn't remember the last 15 years of her life. And when she wakes up, she's really startled to learn how her life has changed from when she was first pregnant with her husband and how they were happily married. And now she learns that she has 3 kids, she's divorced, and like all this stuff is going on. And so she struggles with trying to remember what happened and just like all that stuff. And I really like this because you're really hoping for her her to get that happy ending that she had when she was first pregnant and all this stuff. And like, will she remember everything, because she's trying to work out like everything that went wrong because no one will really tell her. It was just like really good, and I really liked it. I think this is gonna be a movie. I saw like on the book cover, but that was like a few years ago, so who knows. But it was really good, and yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about some of these books and what books got you out of a reading slump. And so yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.